It's been 3 years since I expanded my multi-billion-dollar empire with my first associate, Junior, and 1 year since I added my second associate, Tigger. Since adding these new members to my board of directors, profits have increased. Collectively, we've only thrown up 7 times, and company morale has never been higher. So I thought it was time to have a 3-year review of business operations here at Patchy Industries and share my thoughts on the important question that keeps every owner of one singular cat up at night. That question is, should you get a second cat? This video is sponsored by Shopify. To turn back the clock a little bit, around about spring last year I noticed that Junior just didn't seem quite right. She wasn't as playful, she was sleeping quite a lot, and she was getting a little bit doughy around the edges. So, in response to this crisis, I tried a few different things. I ruled over her food bowl with an iron fist to amend the chunkiness, and I started letting her outside a little bit more so that she could feel the wind on her fur and receive a little bit more stimulation, but something still wasn't quite right. I started to think that she might be a bit lonely, so I got another cat and I called him Tigger. One of the biggest reasons that I chose Tigger was because, like Junior and me, we were all born with ginger and white fur, so it's sort of our official business uniform. Anyway, as a result of getting Tigger, things ended up changing for the better. Junior seemed to have a spring back in her step, and Tigger, he just seems to be happy with whatever's going on. The only person that wasn't happy about the introduction of Tigger was my parents' cat, Harry. My house was still being renovated at this point, so I was still living with my parents when I got Tigger, and Harry just didn't much care for that. Harry has a bit of a tendency to get somewhat spooked by most things in life. I know some people can get accused of having what is known as resting bitch face. Harry has resting spooked face. To be honest, I think he's just a lone wolf who prefers his own company. So on to the hard-hitting debate at hand. Should you get a second cat? Well, in my experience, there are a few things to consider, but let's start with the positives. The first positive of getting a second cat is that you'll have 2 cats. Brilliant. The second positive is that if your first cat seems lonely, getting a second cat can tend to that wound of loneliness. This is a bit of a gamble though, because they might just end up hating each other and then you've got 2 angry cats, but let's just be optimistic and say that it'll go well. When it goes well, the mental, emotional and social stimulation of your cat having another cat that they can chase, play with and just batter are all huge positives. The third positive of having 2 cats is that you can dual wield them. The fourth positive of having 2 cats is that it can offer you a buffet of different textures. One of the beautiful things in life is the array of choices that we have in every area of life. What we'll have for breakfast, what shampoo flavour we'll buy next, what hard-hitting novel we'll read next, and if you have 2 cats with different fur styles, what one you're in the mood to give a squeeze. The fifth benefit that I have touched on in previous cat review videos is the amount of cash that my 2 furry associates have brought into Patchy Industries. I do need to speak about this because, as I said at the start of the video, I'm running a business here. So far, the videos I've made about my 2 co-hosts have made about $10,000, but just last year I decided to expand operations even further and started selling merchandise featuring Junior, and that venture has made me just under $2,000. I am conscious that Tigger is a bit left out here in that he doesn't feature in any of the merch, so I'll need to rustle up some new designs with him on it to restore balance in the world. Back when I initially made my store, I had never created or ran an online store before, so I did think it would be quite difficult, but Shopify made it so easy for me to get set up and start making money. I think my favourite thing about Shopify, and this thing is kind of lots of little things rolled into one big headline, and that is Shopify handles every overwhelming part of creating a store for you. I don't know anything about coding, but that was fine because I just used their drag and drop store editor to build my site exactly how I wanted it. I didn't know what SEO stood for, let alone how to do it, but that wasn't an issue because Shopify sites are optimized for discoverability from the get-go. Being a content creator, I obviously wanted to be selling on social media platforms, and just like every other part of this process, Shopify made this easy as well with their integrations for YouTube, Instagram, Pinterest and more. The straightforwardness of setting all of this up with Shopify was such a huge huge blessing because, as I've said in the past on videos where I talk about the behind the scenes of making money as a content creator, I think it's really important to have a few different income streams to keep the ball rolling in this line of work. I genuinely believe that everyone has some kind of skill or idea that they should share with the world, and that sometimes you just need the right nudge to get started. So if that sounds like you, give it a shot and start your trial right now by going to shopify.com/George Dunnett or by scanning the QR code on the screen. Now, while the addition of Tigger to my household has gone very well, I have experienced some downsides. The first downside is that whenever I stroke one of my cats, the other one tends to feel left out, which conjures up unimaginable levels of guilt within me. Because of this, I have to end up multi-cat-skin, and stroke both of them at the same time, which makes me look like I'm rowing a very furry boat. The next and possibly biggest downside is the maintenance. Double the cats equals double the poops. I've said before that I'm pretty tempted to get one of those self-cleaning litter trays just to see if it improves my life, so don't be surprised if I have a video up in the next few months called I tried the $1,000 cat poop robot. Along similar lines in terms of doubling up the pain points of owning a singular cat, having a second cat means there's an extra 20 claws to clip. To be fair, the back wheels are not as troublesome as the front wheels. I've never really seen a cat scratch furniture with their back claws, so I tend to just stick to clipping the front claws for the sake of my own sanity. But still, Junior and especially Tigger are not fans of getting this done. The third downside is cost. Double the cat insurance, double the vet bills if insurance doesn't cover something, double food, double jiu-jitsu lessons, double poop bags. I personally can't complain on this point because Junior and Tigger have paid their way through featuring in my clickbait, but if you're not in this business, it's something to be mindful of. Boiled down, both the good parts and the bad parts of owning a cat are multiplied when you get a second, but I feel like the added bonus of helping your first cat feel less lonely and more stimulated is the most important factor. Beyond these fairly black and white points, every cat is unique, which means they'll have their own little quirks and personalities, which brings me on to part 2 of this video, my 3-year review of Junior and Tigger. First of all, let's start with the positives, which are really just all of the little things that they do, which I find funny. Number 1, Junior still chews water. I don't know why she does this, but she just goes into a trance where she seems to assess every single molecule of the water, and I like it. Number 2, Junior likes being stroked vigorously outside. She'll usually run out in front of me and wait for me to start stroking her. I don't know, I just find this funny as well. Number 3, Junior's little head bob when she runs. I just really enjoy it. Moving into point number 4 that I love about my cats, we have Tigger's constant tongue sticking outery. I don't know if his tongue is too big for his mouth or if he's just being a little bit goofy, but he's been doing this ever since he was a kitten and he seems to have no plans of slowing down. Number 5, Tigger's plonkability. He seems to just conk out in the weirdest positions and places. Sometimes he'll conk out flat, sometimes he'll conk out sitting down like a little old man, and he's also open to being plonked. In fact, he quite often jumps up on the sofa and waits for me to kind of scoop him in a way that he can use me as an armrest, and I'm just a big fan of this. Number 6, Tigger's paws look like he's wearing gloves and his legs from behind look like he's wearing trousers. He's just so fluffy and I really like that. I should mention, some people have commented on my videos saying that he's fat and that I'm being cruel by overfeeding him, but he's really not fat, he's just fluffy. I've had the vets check him and they've said he's all good, he's just a big boy. And number 7, Tigger still whistles when he purrs, which is just really good. Despite these positives, they do still have some downsides. The first is, Tigger just loves biting stuff. My dad made Harry a little cardboard box bed, and Tigger just chewed it to smithereens. He's also terrible for biting wires. He chewed through my editing headphones a couple of months ago, and just a few weeks ago I came through to my living room to find that he'd bitten through my Xbox headset wire. Luckily I had a spare, so I brought that out, and then the next day I came through only to find that he'd bitten through that one as well. Since then I've been keeping my Xbox controller and headset in the cutlery drawer for safety. The second downside of Junior and Tigger is the honk. It's more so Junior though. I tried giving Junior probiotics to help her tum after people recommended that in response to last year's cat review where I mentioned this issue, but it hasn't done anything. On top of this, one of them peed on my rug last week, so I had to pay to get that professionally cleaned yesterday. But despite these downsides, my review of owning Junior and Tigger this far has been a 10 out of 10. For more hard-hitting cat documentaries, be sure to leave a like and subscribe. Thanks for watching, and I'll catch you all in the next one.